All right, today we are diving deep into a pretty wild social media report that claimed a major incident went down at the White House Correspondents Dinner. Our whole explainer is based on this one live report that tried to capture the chaos as it was happening. So we're going to walk through exactly how this story was told, piece by piece. So the report we're looking at, it doesn't really build up to the drama. No, it just throws you right into the deep end with the single most alarming claim you can imagine, painting a picture of total mayhem at one of DC's biggest nights. And there it is. That's the exact line that kicks the whole thing off. It's not a rumor. It's not a question. It's just a flat-out statement. And that one sentence, right at the top, frames absolutely everything that comes after it. And right after that bombshell, the report just paints this picture of pure chaos. We're talking guests diving under tables, security guards flooding the stage, the whole glamorous event just completely melting down into panic. That's our starting point. Now, to really wrap our heads around how serious these claims are, we gotta understand the event itself, at least how it's described in the source material. The setting here is absolutely key to the whole story. So the source makes it super clear. This is not just some dinner. It's framed as the absolute peak of the DC social scene. You know, they compare it to the Oscars or the Grammys to really drive home just how many powerful and famous people are packed into this one room. And get this, look at the reported guest list. It's not just the former president and first lady. We're talking the Speaker of the House, cabinet secretaries, even other political figures like RFK Jr. This isn't just name dropping. It's showing you the massive, massive security risk if anything goes wrong. Okay, so let's get to the incident itself. The report lays out this sequence of events with almost second-by-second detail, really showing you how fast the whole situation supposedly went from 0 to 100. What's just wild about this is the speed. I mean, look at this timeline. According to the report, just 5 minutes after Trump sits down, you hear these loud bangs. And the reaction is instant. We're talking people hitting the deck, and Secret Service are on that stage in a matter of seconds. And to give you a sense of what that actually sounded like, the narrator quotes someone who was there. They describe it as pop, pop, pop. Not just one loud noise, but what sounded like maybe 5 or 6 distinct shots. That one detail completely changes the game from a random sound to what everyone assumes is gunfire. So, with a potential active threat, the whole focus of the story immediately snaps to the security response. The report then walks us through this incredibly fast and forceful reaction from the Secret Service, laying it all out step by step. And you can literally see the protocol kicking in here. It's like a playbook. First step, protect the main target. Agents form a human shield around Trump. Second, get him out of there. Him and the First Lady are rushed out. Then step 3 is containment. Lock the whole room down. And finally, neutralize the threat, bringing in agents with long guns. And the evacuation didn't stop with Trump. The report claims that every single cabinet member, all the congressional leaders there, they were all pulled from the room too. That little detail is huge because it suggests security was treating this like a major, coordinated attack. Okay, this brings us to a really fascinating part of the story. The nature of live reporting itself. While all this chaos is happening, you've got information flying in from everywhere. And as the report makes very clear, that information, well, it wasn't all adding up. This is just a perfect example of the fog of war, right? So one report cited says the shooter was out in the lobby outside the main room, but then another report says the shots were fired from inside the ballroom. I mean, those are two totally different situations, and in that moment, it seems like nobody knew what was real. And you know, to the narrator's credit, they're pretty upfront about this. This quote comes directly from the source video itself, and it's so important. It's them saying, hey, this is all raw, it's not confirmed, we're just telling you what we're hearing as we hear it. So as the dust starts to settle a bit, the video starts to put a frame around this whole incident, drawing some really big historical comparisons and making one final, definitive claim about what it all meant. This is a really powerful connection the narrator makes. They point out that this all went down at the Washington Hilton, the exact same hotel where John Hinckley Jr. shot President Reagan back in 1981. Drawing that parallel, well, it's obviously meant to add this heavy layer of history and real danger to everything. And then the video wraps up with this one final, really startling number. The narrator claims that this incident was the 5th assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
It's a massive claim, and it's clearly meant to be the final takeaway from the whole report.
So, as we pull back from all of this, the big question isn't just what happened, but maybe how does a story like this get built in real time? When you have panic and you have very little solid information, those first reports, whether they're verified or not, can create their own reality. And this event, as told by our source, is just a fascinating case study of that exact process.